And inside the great pantheon of trash horror movies in this life, there is a subgenre that I love about killer dolls in movies. We all know them, right? The Chucky is the king of them. We also have some lesser-known classics like the Trilogy of Terror with the short movie Amelia. And the great thing about these movies is that their psychological terror comes from a nostalgic factor, specifically from our connection with toys in the childhood. And there is one movie in this category that every time I remember of it, I always think, why don't people talk more about this one? It's such a cool and classic and dear, yes, a dear movie. Dolls from 1986 from the director Stuart Gordon, and let's talk about it now. Hello, my name is Gus and I love to talk about movies, specifically trash movies, more than anyone that I consider normal in this life. But before talking about the movie, if you like trash movies and old movies in general, don't forget to subscribe in the channel, cause this is your house. And like I said, Dolls is a movie directed by Stuart Gordon, who also directed Reanimator, From Beyond, that are horror movies as well. But he also directed action movies like Robot Jox and The Fortress with the iconic Christopher Lambert. And the cool thing about Toys is that besides its plot that is quite similar to other killer toy movies, like Child's Play for example, here the plot is a little more layered, with a more sensitive backstory. I love movies where the killer toys are simply possessed by demons or demonic by nature, like Chucky, Puppet Master, Demonic Toys, or Dolly Dearest. By the way, I rewatched Dolly Dearest recently, and it's pretty great. I know that it is a cop-out of Child's Play, but there is a little Exorcist or The Omen vibe to it. And there are some great jump scares as well. By the way, the movie is fully available on YouTube if you want to watch it. But here in Dolls, you have a story with a little more layer, like I said, because besides being a movie of killer toys, it is also a movie of a haunted mansion. And the story is quite basic. During a storm, the little girl Judy, her father David, and her stepmother Rosemary are trapped in the road, and they ask for shelter in a mansion that is quite near the road. They are kindly received by an elder couple, Gabriel and Hilary Hardwick. And it's important to notice right away that the little girl Judy is a rare kind of character in movies. Because usually kids' characters in movies are kinda problematic. But she is quite adorable. You know why? Because her parents, by the way, her father and her stepmother, are horrible. Very mean to the little girl, and her stepmother throws away her little teddy bear in the forest while they walk to the mansion. So for having a great imagination, and quite creative, the little girl imagines her teddy bear becoming a huge monster and cruelly killing both her father and her stepmother. Like I said, she's adorable. And in the mansion, the elder couple has hundreds of dolls that are quite detailed in their features, because they are toy makers. The main doll of the group is this nosy guy named Mr. Punch that is given to Judy because she has lost her teddy bear, or actually she was thrown away by her stepmother. Later that night, three people arrive at the mansion asking for shelter. A business guy named Ralph and two hitchhikers named Isabel and Enid. The main point here is that the hitchhikers were riding along Ralph in the road because they wanted to pickpocket him. And the movie is very quick to let us know who are the good and the evil characters. And no, the good and the evil characters are not exactly who you think they are. For example, it doesn't take long for the toys to strike, but you will soon realize that they are not necessarily evil. And then you ask me, what do you mean, Gus? Well, to talk about this, I will have to get into the spoiler zone. So if you haven't watched the movie yet, go look for it, watch it, and then come back to this analysis. Starting with the character Ralph, I remember that the first time I watched this movie, I swore to God that he would be an evil character, or at least a disposable character that would die very quickly. Because I have seen this actor before in RoboCop 2, and in that movie he played a dirty cop who had a very cruel ending in the hands of the villain Kane. But here is not this case, quite the otherwise. He quickly shows himself to be a very kind guy, because Once he discovered the toys in the mansion, he reveals that he has a very personal connection with toys since his childhood, which means that he hasn't lost his innocent child heart. By the way, his story is quite similar to the Toy Story movie with Andy and his toys. And this causes Ralph to become friends with the girl Judy right away. The hitchhikers Isabel and Enid are obviously evil. For being thieves, Isabel tries to steal the mansion at night, then she gets attacked by the toys and killed by them in a very bizarre and violent way. Violent how? She is basically transformed into a version of a doll herself. The way she is transformed, I will let you see in the movie, but it's quite brilliant. Then the other hitchhiker Enid tries to escape from the house and is also killed by the toys. How? Little soldiers with guns actually shoot her up. Again, brilliant. And then you said to me, "But Gus, these toys are actually quite evil." Hold on. Then comes the most despicable characters in the movie. Judy's father, David, and especially her stepmother, Rosemary. Basically, she is a witch with B in the beginning of the word, and he's a scumbag who doesn't even care for his daughter. Besides treating the girl badly all the time, especially when she tries to warn them about the strange things she is seeing in the house, they also ignore her, saying that she always tells stories and lies for having a great imagination. Actually, they are quite psychologically abusive towards the girl, especially the stepmother. But that's not to worry about, because soon the toys kill Rosemary in a very cathartic way, torturing her a lot. Then we are left with the couple Hardwick, that has an aura of a gentle couple, but just for appearances, because they are quite sinister. But actually they are really gentle. The matter of the fact is that the toys that they created are magical, because the couple are actually magicians, and they see toys as the heart of the childhood. Also, they hate the coldness and the lack of empathy from the adults. Therefore, when the mansion receives visitors, the toys serve as a kind of test for them. Those who can recognize the value of the childhood and the toys are spared, like Judy and Ralph. But those who don't want to change and continue to be cold are killed and transformed into dolls as well to join the others in the mansion. Remember what happened with Isabel? That's why I said this movie has a sensitive backstory. It might look like a strange idea, but I thought it was cute. I myself judge the people's characters if they love animals, for example, so I think it's pretty fair. And this is exactly what happens in the end of the movie. For being a scumbag, the father of Judy breaks Mr. Punch and is painfully transformed into one toy to replace it. So the dolls are not demonic toys killing innocents, but yet they are punishers. And I love this idea. And to show that the movie has this justice motif, it ends with the Hardwicks putting a spell in the two remaining good characters, Ralph and Judy, letting they go away with the promise of Ralph possibly meeting Judy's mom in the future and adopting her as his daughter. Like I said, very cute. And besides this very positive concept of the story, the movie also has many other positives, like the photography. The mansion itself is shown with many shadows in every corner. The hallways are dark, very dark, enhancing the sinister tone of the mansion. The dolls themselves are pretty cool, because they don't necessarily have demonic faces like Chucky or Dolly Dearest. But they have a bizarre aura because they are shells with little disgusting skulls inside them. The stop motion to create their movements are fantastic. By the way, we need to bring back the stop motion as a technique of movies. Do you remember in Nightmare on Elm Street when we had the Freddy Krueger doll as a stop motion character? It was glorious. And every scene that we have all the dolls together in one single shot, it's visually beautiful and sinister. To those who are afraid of dolls, it can be a sight of nightmares. And for last, the dynamic between all the characters are great. There are many moments of humor with great lines, especially one that comes from Judy, when they ask her if she is afraid of the dark, and her answer is quite straight and clever. I'm not afraid of the dark. I'm afraid of what's in the dark. Anyway, Dolls is a great trash movie for those who love this kind of subgenre with killer toys and all these things. If you like a story that is a little more layered, it's a great movie to watch Saturday nights. And there you go. Now talking about other movies in this subgenre, since we talked about Dolls now, you can already watch the new horror Dolls movie that is coming right now in theaters. Just kidding, but comment below, have you watched Dolls? And by the way, what is your favorite killer doll movie? And just so I don't forget, I also have a YouTube channel of animations, that's right. And these animations are short videos with one of my original characters, Joe Reaper. And Joe Reaper is a Death Reaper, but also a slasher that lives inside the mind of a girl. And there is one specific chapter in his series that he faces a killer doll that is trying to kill the girl, and Joe Reaper has to protect her. The name of the doll is Morticia, and I will leave the link of this video right down here in the description of this video. So please watch the episodes, and they are in 3 parts. And I gotta say, the animation is kinda trash, but if you love this kind of thing like I do, it's for you. And last thing, my first novel is right now in the form of ebook on the site of Amazon, The Angel of Fire and Steel, a great, epic and dark adventure. So check the synopsis, and if you like this kind of content, you will love this story. I'll leave the link of the site right below as well. That's it for today. See you in the next Trashin' with Gus, and bye-bye.